Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here, and welcome to episode number 11 of the One Man Podcast for Wednesday, July 26, 2017. Welcome back, guys. This is a monumental occasion for me because this is the first podcast after 10. Now, I'm not telling you how to do basic math. I know that you guys already know that, but there's a little adage in stand-up comedy. An adage? I don't know if it is. Anyways, there's someone made this point a very long time ago about starting stand-up comedy, a friend of mine, Nick Carter, and he said that the first 10 sets that you do don't even matter. It's not about jokes or anything like that. You're just sort of getting used to getting up on stage, talking in front of a crowd, doing your time, and then getting off stage. First 10 times don't even matter. You're just practicing that routine. And then you get to go on, and do the other stuff after that. And, like you practice the next 100 shows are less important in the sense that you're just sort of practicing jokes and how to do things. So I'm treating the One Man Podcast that same way. The first 10 are down, guys. It was just me getting used to every week talking, putting it out there, getting it scheduled at time, having it for you guys. What am I getting the hiccups for? Having it for you guys by Wednesday. Yeah, see, these are the things that happen. And that's another thing of this show. I told myself going in that I was always going to be real with you guys. I wasn't going to make up shit. I wasn't going to stage anything. Sometimes people send me messages and go, well, we could send like an email and do it like that. And I go, I don't want to stage anything. I want your guys to if you send me something, I want it to be real. I'll never know, I'll read it, but I'm not going to stage anything. I'm not going to lie about things that happened. I'm not going to, this is the real Josh Williams that you guys get every time you listen to the One Man Podcast. But 10 episodes down, now we can start really trying to build this thing. Not like I wasn't putting effort into it before, but the fact of the matter is I've gotten used to, writing show notes every week, trying to organize things, pick portablepress.com, articles and editions that are relevant to what's going on in my life or in everybody's lives at the time being, so we're just, we're having fun, guys. I'm excited to, bring a little more energy to the show. I'm recording earlier, which I think I'm going to have to do more regularly because the later in the day it gets and the more time crunch I have, the more it feels like work and not like the fun little sit down connection that I want it to be, so that's my off the top of the show. For first 10 episodes are down, guys. This is number 11. Time to get fun and silly with you. We're going to have fun every single time going forward. No guarantees, but we're going to try. We're going to have the energy up. We're going to have more fun. This show, I'm going to talk about what I did last week, what I got coming up this week, some fun little things that I've seen and listened to, since last we spoke. I did mention last week that I was working at that hot tubs job, and it did get worse before it got better. I actually had a friend of mine reach out to me and say that in the last episode, it sounded like I was bitching about having to do a 9-to-5 job or complaining about it. And I guess I can see that. I was really stressed out. I recorded last week's episode. This may come across as a little defensive, but I want to be honest with you guys. I recorded last week's episode right after getting off of my first day at that job. And I don't know. I don't listen to my episodes. I can't do it. Once I've got it recorded and I put it out there, I can't really listen to them afterwards because they sort of drive me crazy hearing the sound of my own voice, and I'm way too critical of them. But I did come right home and record it before going to the competition. We had a busy week, and I remember just being so stressed out and being so uncomfortable. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, but that job that I was doing, I got like no training for, and what I was told I was doing and what I actually ended up doing were two very different things. And so I was just really embarrassed last week. Last week was really embarrassing. I was basically running a business that I knew nothing about. And so I didn't have a problem working 9-to-5s. I do them all the time. I had a problem with being responsible for someone's business and not feeling like I was trained properly, because I felt like every time someone asked me a question, I was polite. I had good customer service. That's not an issue. It was a matter of just, not being able to answer someone's question. And, it's saying, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer right now, but if you let me, I'll message the owner and I'll get back to you as soon as I hear a response. And these people are like, oh, you don't know? You can't tell me right now? It was so funny too, because these are people who own hot tubs, right? Like, we're not talking about, I'm not doing open heart surgery or anything like that where it requires, this is not essential shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not selling pacemakers. We're selling fucking $10,000 bubble baths. And these people are like, you don't know right now, my super, super luxury item is going to go on hold for a couple hours till you get me an answer. Like, just that's the kind of people that I was dealing with. It wasn't people who were reasonable. Now, I'm starting to get why the kids in Home Depot hide. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone at Home Depot with what you think is a simple question, and the guys in the fucking orange aprons, you'll go down, you'll turn down an aisle, and you'll see them at the other end. They make eye contact with you, and then they fuck off right away. I think I'm starting to get it. These guys, they have that whole, you can do it, we can help. I don't think you can. I don't think you have the answers. When I go to Home Depot, I have to explain to them what it is that I'm looking for and the piece and what it's called and everything like that. I'm like, just all I need you to do is tell me where it is, and they don't even know that. So that's what I felt like. I felt like I was the only guy working in a Home Depot of hot tubs last week, and every time someone walked in, only I didn't run. That's what I mean, maybe if I ever do this job again, that's what I'll learn from it, is I'll run. That's my job. They come in, I run, they call, I don't answer, and then I pick up a paycheck at the end of the week. But things did, yeah, like I said, I was really uncomfortable. People were, some people were really nice. They accepted the fact that I didn't have an answer right away. But then again, I felt like every time someone called and they just said, I'll call back next week when the owner's back, I just felt like, well, what am I getting paid for then? So, anyways, long story short is I made it through the week. It wasn't as horrible as I intended, but at the same time, it was kind of like, there's a great line from a movie called The Big Kahuna that has Kevin Spacey and Danny DeVito in it. And it's a movie about salesmen and trying to progress and make connections and things like that. And one of the guys, Peter Facinelli's character, goes, I should say, Kevin Spacey asks Peter for fuck's sakes, Peter Facinelli's character. He goes, "Are you ready for this, Bob?" And he goes, "Well, I guess you're just going to have to throw me in the water and see if I can swim." And he goes, "Oh no, Bob, it's not like that at all. We're about to throw you off a cliff and see if you can fly." And that's what it felt like last week, was I got thrown off a cliff and see if I could fly, and I could not. I fell down the cliff just like Homer Simpson when he tried to jump Springfield Gorge. So that was me last week, but I survived. I've made it beyond that, and I'm ready to move on to the next embarrassing endeavor in my life, because those happen all the time. So I had a good week last week. What else did I do? I think I judged the competition. We had a nice little birthday party for the little lady, and now birthdays are in the rear view until next summer, which is great. It's really a great time. Spending time with the family. We did a nice little dinner for her on her birthday. And then like I said, I mean, every day was pretty much the hot tubs thing. So by the time I came home, I was pretty wiped, just mentally. Again, I don't have a problem working 9 to 5. I have a problem, it's like getting a job where, like, how do you feel about apologizing and pissing people off? Anyways, I gotta let it go. I'm done. I'm free. I've been paid. I'm safe. I did get an opportunity to do the Velvet Room again. I hosted a show at the Velvet Room in Kanata, an Absolute Comedy satellite room here in Ottawa, and that was a lot of fun. There was a guy in the crowd who was from Sweden named Felix. Super nice guy. Felix was very, very kind. Felix is a gigantic Ottawa Senators fan. So when I asked Felix, because he said he just came in, it's his first time visiting Ottawa ever. When I finally met him after the show, I couldn't see him in the dark. He was wearing a Sens hat and Sens t-shirt and everything like that. I asked Felix if he had seen anything in Ottawa. And for any of my international listeners, Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So he's here visiting. I asked him where he went. And the first thing he said that he did when he got here was to see the CTC Center, or the CT Center. So the Canadian Tire Center where the Senators play. Which I was like, oh, fuck, really? Like, all the things that you can see in Ottawa, you're going to go see the arena? I mean, I guess if you're a huge Sens fan, which I didn't know at the time, but he told me after the show he's a big Sens fan. That's why he went. But apparently they gave him a private tour and everything like that. They took him all over the building, showed him the locker rooms and all around behind the scenes, because they were so impressed that, he had come from so far and was such a big Sens fan and just wanted to see it. So they took good care of him. I talked to him during the show and after the show. And as usual, had a great time. Neil, with, Fat Tuesdays and the Velvet Room out there, did a phenomenal job as always. The room was packed. It's only getting better and stronger every week it goes on. So again, guys, check out absolutecomedy.ca for the Velvet Room shows, and of course all shows. There's satellite rooms in all cities and things like that. So if you're looking for a great time, or you want to just happen to stumble across me sometime at one of these shows, check them out. AbsoluteComedy.ca. There's great shows all the time, and I can't say enough nice things about the Velvet Room. Had a great time on Saturday, the weekend. I actually got to spend the day with my lady, which is fantastic. I never get to spend a whole day with her. We usually both have errands and work to do, but we both had Saturday off. And in the spirit of trying to be more active and things like that I've talked about, we decided to go do something outdoors. And when we were talking about it, we were going to go to, I think, Gatineau Hills. We were going to go for a hike there. We were thinking about taking the dogs, but it was the way the day was shaping up. We were hitting the hottest point of the day, and we felt like the dogs shouldn't go on a big long hike in the heat. We looked around at some other things she had mentioned. I think I'm going to get it wrong. McDonald Park or something. I don't know. Some old stone structures, whatever. She's taken some pictures there that are outstanding. So it's a lot of nice stuff. But I remember just thinking, I've seen a lot of people taking pictures of these horticultural sculptures, like they look like hedge animals, whatever, but they're not. They're like, I guess I don't even really know how to describe it, guys. All I can say is called Mosaic Canada. So like mosaic, only the C on mosaic is to spell Canada as well. So MOSAICANADA. And that's happening at, I believe, Jacques Cartier Park. It's free. And I took a lot of pictures. So if you happen to be following a One Man Podcast on or myself on Instagram, I was live. I was basically playing with your story. All right, I'm still learning. I'm 35, 4, whatever, and I'm still learning social media stuff. So I'm learning the your story thing. So I enjoy doing it. So you kind of keep up with what's going on with me, but at the same time, it all goes away after a day, and I feel like all that work, all those stories and things. I really try, guys, not to post anything that's completely fucking boring. I don't mind doing a little promo for an episode here or there to just sort of shows that, what book, for my sponsors, what book we're going to read from, what drink I'm going to drink, just a little something to give them a little public exposure, right? Remind you that they're out there too. They got brands, they got things they're doing. But I try not to post a bunch of really boring shit on Instagram. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people who do. A lot of women taking pictures of themselves with inspirational quotes, but really, let's be honest, ladies, you just want to take a picture of yourself and show everybody. The inspirational quote is to look like you're giving it context. You're not. You're not. And we get it. Same thing with the big gym douchebags. Big dudes taking pictures of themselves with their shirts pulled up in their bathroom. I don't know why the bathroom is where everyone takes it. Like, go stand in front of a wall and take a picture of yourself, or put up a nice mirror in your house if you're taking pictures of yourself every day. I don't get that. Anyways, but that's just me. The point is, a lot of people are taking pictures of themselves on Instagram looking for a little ego stroke. I guess, hey, maybe if I was in great shape, I would do that too. I don't know. I'd like to think that I wouldn't, but unless I think something's actually interesting or kind of cool to look at, I don't bother posting it. So needless to say, like once every 2 or 3 days, you might see something from me. But a perfect opportunity to remind you to follow me, Josh Williams Comedy, or this podcast, One Man Podcast, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, because I post things. So, anyways, the Mosaic Canada, guys, if you look it up online, you can see it. It's got, like I said, it's like a whole horticultural. It looks like hedge clippings, but they're crazy elaborate. So they're not hedges. What it is like they build these giant, wire structures, fill them with soil. Jesus, sorry for whistling your ear there. These giant, metal frames, fill them with soil or some sort of I don't even know how to describe it, like packed earth or whatever. And then they plug in, patches of different kinds of flowers or grasses or things like that. And effectively it all comes together to look like a giant sculpture. So, I guess maybe I could post some pictures. You'll see, you know what? Again, One Man Podcast on Instagram. I have a bunch of like a big collage I put of all the different things there. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, jump on there real quick. You'll see, the pictures that I have. And, that was crazy gorgeous. It's happening, I believe, for at least the rest of the month here in Ottawa, or I should say just over the bridge in Gatineau. I mean, effectively the same thing, but, it's called Mosaic Canada. It was beautiful, outstanding. We had a great time. It was hot. There's lots of people. You had to stand in line for like half an hour to get in, but it was free. You know what I mean? So if you're willing to stand in line, you're going to see something absolutely beautiful that should cost money that didn't. And then after a couple hours of that, we had enough of the heat. Went and got a little, got ourselves a couple of little nice deli sandwiches. And then we went to go see War for the Planet of the Apes. That's why we spent our Saturday mid-afternoon. Excuse me. And I'll give you guys a quick little review of it. I'll try to have no spoilers, but fuck it. I'd barely pay attention to what I'm saying 90% of the time, so they could slip out. But yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes was fun. That's all I can say. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. It certainly was the same idea. Like I think it was called Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was the one with James Franco, and he finds Caesar, and he's teaching Caesar how to do sign language and stuff like that. And that basically goes from how these apes go from being, just effectively apes to smart bipedal, contestants for the dominance of the world. That was a great movie. It was fun. It was exciting. There was good character growth. There was a real nice story arc. Really, really enjoyed that movie. The second one was, okay, the apes are in the forest now doing their own thing. And, humans are encroaching on their territory and are afraid of them. It's the conflict going on. And of course, Caesar wants peace. But there's another ape, Koba, who does not forgive human beings for what they did to him, and has a personal vendetta, causes more conflict. So instead of being able to resolve the peace, more conflict is started. And that whole movie becomes, basically war scenes of humans versus apes. No problem. That's what Planet of the Apes is. Well, War for the Planet of the Apes, guys, is more the same. It's humans versus apes. Some cute scenes, some really great, motion capture acting from Andy Serkis, who's the guy who basically, if you're doing any kind of movie where, someone's in a suit and they're playing to him, Andy Serkis is the guy. He played Gollum. He did the voice of Gollum. He played Gollum in the actual last movie where you see that actual Hobbit fighting with the other Hobbit for the ring. That's actually Andy Serkis. He's in a lot of other things too. He was in King Kong, which was also a Peter Jackson movie, so no surprise, Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson did the new King Kong movie, not the new one, but he was in the remake one there where King Kong's fighting dinosaurs and stuff. But effectively, Andy Serkis was like the boat captain or whatever. Anyways, who gives a shit? He's a great fucking motion capture guy. All right. If you need something, he's in it. He's also in Avengers Age of Ultron. He plays the guy who Ultron steals the vibranium from and rips off his arm. He will be in the upcoming Black Panther movie because he's actually a main villain of Black Panther. Boring. Get back to what you were talking about, Josh. The point I'm making is that it's really well done. It doesn't look shitty. It's just, there's not much of a story to it. Crystal was saying to me that she never really saw the original Planet of the Apes. I saw the first one with Charlton Heston where, at the end of the movie, he realizes he's not on some distant planet. He's on some future version of Earth. Damn you! You blew it up! You damn you all to hell! That's Planet of the Apes, the original one. And then my understanding is like the bunch of movies that come after it are just more movies of humans fighting apes, like the battle of humans versus these apes. Well, that's what these Planet of the Apes movies are turning into. And some things happen that might make it that they make any more might be slightly different. But the truth of the matter is, if you saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you've already seen War for the Planet of the Apes. It's just more of the same. So it's entertaining, but it's not anything groundbreaking or whatever. We went for dinner. So I should have mentioned this off the top, as just I mentioned, but a happy belated birthday to Sam. That's Crystal's sister. We went and met her. I thought we were just going to dinner with her. It turns out it was her birthday celebration. So she was surprised. She goes, everyone was like, "Happy birthday, Sam." I go, "Oh, is your birthday?" She's like, "Yeah. Why did you think we were all together?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You're a nice person." Crystal said that it was here. We were getting together with you on Saturday. I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. So anyways, happy birthday here. We went to Wild Wing. I've been there before years ago. Gotta say, little on the pricey side. So this is like one of those places where, they do wings. Wings is their big thing. Only they've got like 100 flavors. And looking at the menu, it was like hot sauce mixed with ranch. It was basically like you take like 5 different sauces that you get on every wing, You know what I mean? Like barbecue, honey garlic, hot. I'm running out already. Like maybe teriyaki. Even that's unlikely. You got like your medium, hot, barbecue, honey garlic, and then maybe ranch. And it's like, and then all their 100 flavors are basically just combinations of those 5. So it's pretty. I found it to be pretty weak selection. And for the price, it was like basically you're looking at $15 for the wings. And I was like, okay, that's kind of pricey for 10 wings. And and again, anyways, whatever, who gives a shit. I only got 10 because I'm trying to be good. I was a good boy. I went for a big long walk that day, right? And then I sat in a theater and I didn't eat popcorn or have pop, which I always do because it's fun. So I didn't do that. And then I only had 10 wings, and they were good, but it was just I found it to be a little. So if you're ever like, oh, wild wing, I've heard good things. It's expensive. They got a few different combinations. If you disagree with me, fucking let me know. But the one that I went to here in Ottawa was not that good. And then we went home. We watched a little Better Call Saul because we were tired after the long day. Great show. Still really enjoying. We're only watching the first season again. I've seen the whole first season, but we're trying to watch season 2 and 3. I'm going to cancel my cable service in a couple months, but I've got all of season 3 of Better Call Saul PVR'd, so I want to make sure that I get that watched before I get rid of it. So we watched some more Better Call Saul and had a great evening. And Sunday morning, I went for breakfast with my mom. As I've mentioned before, I try to be a good son, take my mom to get some groceries and shit like that on Sundays. We went to a place in Ottawa to have breakfast. And I you know what, this podcast is very quickly going to be turning into me bitching about the food that I've had. I'm not in a bad mood or anything like that, but I don't know if that ever happens to you guys. Like I'm not cheap, and I'm not like a giant bit. I should say, you know what? There was somebody that I had met. It was a friend of Sam's who was with us at Wild Wing. She complained about everything. She wasn't a mean person or anything, but it was like anything that you could complain about. And we're talking like call the server over and complain and ask for it to be fixed. And I don't know. I will the reason I'm saying this is this person was like overboard. It was almost like, just give me a reason to call the server over. You know what I mean? Like they were looking for things, didn't give her more than a minute to resolve something before she was back to saying, hey, we still didn't get our blah, 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 you know what I mean? So it was a little overboard. The reason I say that is the next day, Sunday, I went for breakfast with my mom, and we went to a restaurant, just a standard little breakfast place. I've gone there several times before, always been happy with what I ordered. I tried something new that day. I ordered myself Eggs Benedict on waffles, right? I figure, okay, it's on waffles, plural. A lot of breakfast places will make these nice big Belgian waffles or whatever. So I figured, yeah, fuck it. The Hollandaise sauce always runs over the side, but if it's on a waffle, that's going to keep it in. Let's give it a try. Right? Hollandaise, or what was it? Eggs Benny on waffles with bacon. And I was like, okay, this seems great. Let's do it. I order it. And when the meal arrives, mine was $15. My mom's breakfast was $5. She had bacon, eggs, toast, and home fries. And when we got our food, my plate was the same, not the plate, sorry, but my serving was the same size as my mom's. So home fries were the same. We both had 2 eggs, only mine were poached. And the waffle that they had given me was like a shitty Eggo waffle. And when they called it quote unquote waffles, it was a square waffle that they had cut in half, corner to corner, like a sandwich, and put one of my eggs on each one with 1 slice of bacon underneath each one. And so I'm looking at my mom's breakfast, 3 slices of bacon, 2 eggs, home fries, and toast. I'm looking at mine, a waffle cut in half, 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon, and home fries. And I'm going, and I was just like, how is my meal 3 times as expensive as yours? And it's basically the same shit. I'm like, you have 2 pieces of toast, I have 1 waffle. I mean, there's every now and again, I'm like I said, sometimes you go, this is not quite worth it. And, I'll eat it and I'll shut up and whatever, and just won't have it again. But I'm looking at it. The breakfast that I usually get there is $10, and it's twice the amount of food that either one of us has got. And this thing is, it's even more expensive for less. So I just said to this waitress, I said, I don't normally complain, and I'm so sorry for bothering you, but this is, I go, we basically have the same meal, and mine's 3 times the price. It said on the menu waffles. I didn't realize, you cut it in half and call it waffles. I didn't realize they're not, large Belgian waffles. Like this is like a frozen Eggo that you've cut. Anyways, I was very polite. She was like, no, you know what? When I was carrying it over, it really looked unimpressive to me. And I was like, yeah, well, the only difference is mine has Hollandaise sauce. And I go, now I love Hollandaise sauce, and my friend Jim, who writes in from time to time, Jim's mom makes a mean Hollandaise sauce. She makes it from scratch every day, or not every day, every Christmas day. That's their tradition. So Christmas morning they wake up and she makes it from scratch. They have eggs Benny on Christmas morning, which is outstanding. But I'm like, you know what? The difference of $10 is the Hollandaise sauce. So I'm like, let me test. Like, if this is $10 Hollandaise sauce, I'll shut my mouth right now. I dipped my finger in it, tasted it. It had no flavor at all. It was like yellow mayonnaise. It was so weak. So I'm like, yeah, not $10 Hollandaise. And she laughed too. She tried it. And basically what had happened is they brought me the meal back and said they're just going to give it to me for $5. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, I can live with that. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with the food. I just thought it was expensive or whatever. So, defend yourself, God damn it, when you're out eating. I have no idea. I don't know. Do you guys send back food? I don't like to, and I don't like to bitch or anything like that. But like I said, sometimes you just see something. I've talked about other subjects before where I say I'm just big on equality, fairness, justice, and sometimes I see something like that and I go, yeah, if I was all by myself and I ordered that, I wouldn't see the meal across the table from me. That's the same thing. That's $5 and I'm paying 15. So I don't know. Would you guys do that? Am I the only person who's just sitting there, being either cheap or like gluttonous? Like I don't care about the portion. I care that the same portion costs, 3 times less if you call it something else and, you take the fucking mayonnaise sauce off of it. So I don't know. What would you guys have done in that situation? I thought I'd ask you about that. Another thing, I was getting together on Sunday to help my mom create a Facebook page. She works for the government and they've got a union that they want to make a Facebook page for so they can share information with each other. And that was one of the things that I was doing that day. I brought my laptop and after breakfast we were going to go and sit down at Timothy's, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have had this. Again, there's other parts of the world where, you might not know what I'm talking about at all. I'm not talking about Tim Hortons. I'm talking about Timothy's World Coffee. There's locations all over the city, and correction, there was locations all over the city. The one that we were going to go to at College Square has also just closed. We drove across the street and pulled up to, the signs all torn out of the window and a fence built around the front, like they're renovating it for something else. You could see the jack inside, like the Sky Jack, little movable scaffolding truck thing. There it was gone. And I was like, holy shit, I think there's now one. I've seen several Timothy's in my city close down. It is my favorite coffee. If you buy Keurig K-Cups, it's usually like the number one brand for, coffees and flavored coffees available. But the stores in Ottawa are closing down quickly. So I was really disappointed to see one of my favorite places close down. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But so we ended up going somewhere else to sit down and do the Facebook page. She actually learned it pretty quick. I mean, it was tough because several times I'm like, okay, what do you want the title of your page to be? And she's like, well, say that this is an electronic billboard. And I go, you don't need to say that. People already know that when they're on a Facebook page that it's the cover photo. You don't need to say anything on it. She's like, well, just say, we will add the information here when necessary. I go, just add it when necessary. You can put that in your about section. It was just funny because I guess, like I said, she's never really adminned a page before. And you got to be patient with old people because they're afraid of technology. So we did that, did our Costco shopping, nice little afternoon. And then like I came back, I was going to have a sort of a quiet little night. And then my roommate, Simon, the one who was vacuuming previous episodes before, Simon offered to Kamar myself, he said, hey, you guys want to go see Baby Driver? I will treat you to the movie if you guys want to come out. And, I don't know if you guys have seen trailers for it, but Baby Driver is basically, it's like the Fast and the Furious meets the Transporter. So basically, it was because they were both diluted, they were just less douchey versions of the Transporter and Fast and the Furious. And if you're big fans of Fast and the Furious or the Transporter movies, I'm sorry that I called them douchey. Those movies are stupid. They're stupid. I don't want to shit on your beliefs, but fast cars with people with Down syndrome making little action comments, Jason Statham and Vin Diesel. Like, I need a bald guy saying really stupid lines while doing like a bunch of stunts. I really can't. Like in the last Vin Diesel movie, which I think was Triple X, whatever, Samuel L. Jackson says to him, "Stop the bad guys, get the girl, and try to look dope when you're doing it." I'm like, really? That's the instructions a CIA operative would give. Look, man, complete the mission and try to look cool as fuck. I would be like, you know what? Try not to be seen. Trying to do these things covertly. I think that if that's what you need in your movies, like, yo, try to look dope. Yeah, look dope, yo. I think if that's what you're looking for, I don't know. Enjoy your Fast and the Furious movies. I know what they are. They're just big, they're big cock strokes for people who like cars and stuff. I don't know. I think they're stupid. But Baby Driver was a movie about a young kid who's just a really good getaway driver. That was the plot of it. And then very quickly into the movie, he stops driving and starts running everywhere. And that's not, believe it or not the plot. It's not like, oh, he's just a driver who doesn't want to drive anymore. No, that would be a story. It was fun. It was action. There were some very cute scenes in it, but not like there was some full 180 character-wise things that happened in it that made absolutely no sense. And we're talking absolutely no sense. Like the guy who wants to kill you is now giving his life to protect you for no good reason. They didn't eye for an eye. They didn't take care of each other. Now I owe you. Just all of a sudden, the guy who wants to murder him wants to give his life to save him for seemingly no reason. So anyways, if you're looking for a good action movie, as soon as it comes out on Netflix, enjoy it. Definitely, worth going up. Like the biggest thing is, Kamara and Simon and I had a great time going out together. Simon was very, very kind. He picked up the tab for the movies and bought us all popcorn and drinks. So yes, my holding off on Saturday for popcorn and drinks fell completely apart. On Sunday, I did the popcorn and the drinks, and we got butter on them. I never get popcorn or butter on my popcorn. We got butter on the popcorn. Holy shit, like 1-2 handfuls in. I felt like I was drinking butter. Like all I could taste in my mouth was butter everywhere. I had this sick feeling. But it was still good. Still ate half the bag. I just had to take fucking shifts. A couple handfuls, put it down, let my body freaking absorb some moisture after all that salt. And yeah, so we had a great time. Baby Driver, I would still say it's a fun movie. Just, I guess, almost anyone listening be like, yeah, dude, it's a movie about a fucking kid who listens to his iPod and drives a car. Like, what do you think was going to be an Oscar winner? No, but I thought I've seen movies with action before that make fucking sense. James Cameron can do it, right? He can write an action movie and it actually makes sense. So what the fuck? Why can't I see this, right? Why can't these exist? Yakking at you so long, my throat gets dry. God damn it. So what happened? Yeah, yesterday Monday, right? Because I record these on Tuesday. I went back to Ubering. Oh, ride sharing. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit that out. Yeah, I drive for Uber. And I gotta say too, actually, Uber advertises. I said their name, so I'm not gonna give them positive promotion. I'm gonna hold their feet to the fire a little bit here. When Uber was not regulated in Ottawa, they reached out to me and asked me if I would be willing to share my story with the media to help promote positively Uber. And I said, all right. And I spoke to the news media and they wrote a story. And then I started getting contacted by other news media, like they wanted to do a TV spot. So I did that. And then someone else wanted to talk to me, somebody else. And I did that. Then they asked me within a couple of days if I would show up to City Hall and talk about, what it's like being an Uber driver and help, be a story of like, hey, here's what Uber does and whatever, and basically give Uber a ton of positive press. And of course, all this for free, right? And what ended up happening was because I was driving for Uber, there's a lot of people worry there's no insurance. You're covered insurance, but your insurance company will not cover you if you get into an accident. At least according to what my insurance company did, because they called me because they saw me on TV and said, "Hey, are you driving Uber?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, if you get into an accident, you're not covered. You got to be careful because you can't drive." Blah 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 blah. Well, I spoke to a bunch of different people at Uber, the heads of Uber, whatever. They assured me that the second you log into the app, you're covered under an umbrella policy for Uber. When someone gets, when you accept a ride, you're covered. Once you get your passenger in the vehicle, you got even more coverage. So you are covered with insurance or whatever. But I was kind of like, okay, well, I just put myself in harm's way by letting my insurance company know publicly that I'm driving for you guys. And, I was very helpful. I spoke at City Hall. I did everything I could to be a good ambassador for Uber. And I've heard Uber advertise on podcasts before. I've heard them, try to, there's ads and things like that, copies that that the hosts of whatever podcast will read to try to get people to A, drive with Uber, B, use Uber as a service. So I still had the contact emails from these people at Uber that I was corresponding with when I was, showing up in Ottawa at City Hall, when I was doing the news media stuff. And I basically, I reached out and said, hey, I've got a podcast, and if you guys are still advertising, I would love to, talk about maybe you guys advertising with me. Not only could I, promote it, but at the same time, I do it so I can give that word of mouth endorsement. You know what I mean? That, hey, come drive with Uber. It's not that bad. I do it. It's a great opportunity, blah, blah, blah. I sent probably 3 emails at different times, and I've heard nothing back from those people. I tried calling and I left a message, no response from the same person. Their answering machine is the same that I spoke to 8 months ago. So when I was helping them, when they needed me to do media and stuff, if I sent them a message, I got a response within 5 minutes. I have since reached out to them to see if they would like to discuss. It's not like they told me no and I was upset. They haven't even responded to me like I don't exist. So, Uber's, the reason I brought them up was I was going to say that they recently sent me a thing letting me know that the tipping is now available as an option for Uber, and I drove on yesterday in the morning, and I took, I think, like 7 or 8 rides and not a single person tip. Didn't ask for it. It's supposed to be like an option that pops up like $1, $2, or $5 or whatever. So people are very happy not to tip, and even though it's an option made simple for them, and even though I'm incredibly charming and a safe driver and eloquent and giving away free Absolute Comedy passes when I take a ride, every one of my passengers gets a free Absolute Comedy ticket. Still no tips, so that's okay. Not angry. I am just a little surprised because I know that if I was in that situation, as soon as the ride was over and it's like, would you like to give a tip? I'd be like, yeah, fuck, give him $1, right? At the end of the day, if I'm able to take 10 rides, 7 to 10 rides, whatever, buck a piece, it makes my day a little brighter. Anywho, back to doing that. We'll see. I'll let you guys know as soon as I get my first Uber tip, see if people are comfortable with that. I used to get tips occasionally, like maybe once a month, someone would hand me like $1 or $2, which I appreciated. That was very kind, not necessary. I never made anyone feel like they had to. But just in talking about that, I really wanted to say to Uber, or at least the person I've been corresponding to, because there's only been one person who was my contact during that period, that a bit of a fuck you, and you're when you need something from me, you're right there, but when I want to have a little conversation with you, you're absent. That's a bit of a fuck you, and it definitely helps support the the public, Uber's this, Uber's that. I don't know. Uber's fine. It's a great service, but in terms of, contacting their employees, quote unquote, or subcontracted employees, they could do a little better, Uber. Now you're trying to add tipping to make us feel a little like you give a shit a little more. You're trying to help us out. Who knows? Maybe every single person tipped me and Uber hasn't, Uber kept it. Who knows? But I'm going to keep driving with them as long as they'll have me. But every now and again, fuck you, Uber. You know what I mean? You take a lot of money. You take a lot of money. Anyways, you guys don't give a shit about this. I also have stopped. It's the end of an era. I'm still partnered with Summersby and very happy to be, but I will not be just yakking about them anymore. I wrote and produced a commercial yesterday for the podcast for Summersby, which I will be debuting later on in this podcast when we get to that point of the show. But that was something that I did yesterday too. I had a lot of fun doing, just dicking around and whatnot. I did that, and then last night I went to do the usual. I judged the final heat of the Prove You're a Comic competition. Just the final heat. We had 5 people move on. Tonight I'm gonna go check out, see how they do. The 9 people were whittled down to 5, and they'll compete tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night being today when you guys actually listen to this, the Wednesday. It's now currently Tuesday. So yeah, I'm gonna check out that show this evening. But it's like that's it. That's the last week of the preliminaries. Next week is the finals where, all 5 finalists are going to compete every single night to audience votes. They do like 8 shows, and the average score for the entire week, that person wins. They get to perform at all 3 Absolute Comedy Clubs for an entire week for paid work. They win it was a $500 grand prize, as well as that, and not to mention other showcases and whatnot. The Summersby / Carlsberg, which is their parent company, area guy from Toronto or whatever, he was in last night. He came in, he judged with us. He doubled the pot. He said, you know what, Summersby is going to contribute $500 as well. So the grand prize has now gone from $500 to $1,000 to the winner. So that was very exciting and very generous of James, the area manager for Carlsberg. So that's also why we do Kronenberg, guys. I talk about Kronenberg Blanc because that's also owned by Carlsberg. Clicking my highlighter here. So that was great. An opportunity to meet him. I sent him the commercial for Summersby as well today. I don't know if he's listened to it yet. But again, you guys will hear it debuted a little later on, which is just funny. It's just a funny commercial I did. I'm excited. I'm having fun learning how to do GarageBand stuff and produce sound and whatnot, because now that I've got this equipment and the podcast has forced me to learn how to do certain, production and editing and things like that, I'm actually in a position where, if I get a sponsor, I can kind of fuck around and create something that's funny and gets them out there. So, had a lot of fun with that. That's been, the week that's gone on for me since last I spoke to you guys. I took Brody actually last week to get his screen fixed on his iPhone. It was broken, and we have to go again because they fixed it, but it's still not working. Sometimes you'll get a screen fixed, and then all of a sudden certain parts of the screen don't work. You tap them, and the thing's not working. But it's funny, when we walked into the repair shop, they had right in the middle of it was a small little repair shop, but right in the middle of the room, giant table loaded with fidget spinners. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like everywhere I go, there's these fucking fidget spinner things. Like out of nowhere, it's like a thing for kids. I get that. Tickle Me Elmos weren't in every fucking store you went to when they were popular. And that's a very dated reference. What's fucking new that people give a shit about? I don't even know anymore. But the idea is that something is super popular. Yeah, I get it, but it's not front and center every store. But I think it's because they're such shitty little things, like $5 pieces of plastic that spin. If you don't know what a fidget spinner is, good for you. Good for you for living in that fucking cave with your head under a rock. Right? Good for you. I can't say that everywhere, and Brody fucking loves them. So he spent some of his money that he got for his birthday fixing his screen, because he got mad and smashed it, right? That's on him. But he spent his money to get it fixed. He had some left over and wanted to buy one of the nice metallic, higher quality, because there's different quality fidget spinners, right? You can't just have the peasant ones that are $5 and a simple primary color plastic. No, you got to get the ones that are like metallic and that have shapes in them. And fucking stupid. What a fucking racket, man. I always feel like why couldn't I just been the guy who came up with some bullshit? That's the thing, right? Like, how do you predict that the stupid thing that you make or have an idea for is going to go crazy? Like, who would have thought 140 characters would be one of the most popular things? You know what I mean? I mean, it's going downhill now, because with Instagram, you can write a lot more and you can share a quick picture, a quick little thing. But, who would have thought Twitter? You know what I mean? And fidget spinners. What is it? It's a thing that spins. Really? Yeah. Every kid's going to want 75 of these. Really? Yeah. And some of them cost $100. It's a piece of plastic that spins. Yeah. And it costs $100. What's wrong with these kids? They're fucking stupid. Like, I think that's what happens when we push technology, right? Because we used to play, like the parents played cards, and then people played board games. I remember playing board games, right? I got listeners that play board games. And then, we started with the video games, right? Handhelds. Things were getting good. Then the systems got too intense. The graphic cards. You get to a point where, like, how much nicer can these games go? And then all of a sudden, the fucking mentality, the focus goes, boom, back to, hey, look, it spins. That's like the old fucking Top Toys. Only you can hold it in your hand and spin it. We have basically pushed ourselves past the brink of entertainment. We have now regressed into, wow, it spins. Can I have another? This one's blue. Wow. Basically, that sounded like a mix between Ray Romano and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wow. Uh, I don't know. That seems ridiculous to me. I hope these things go away very, very quickly. Um, you know what I did last week? This was fun. I gotta take a second on this. I know we're getting a little ways into the podcast, and I got some questions. Remember, just we're almost done. All right, I'm almost done shooting my mouth off in your ear. I have this book called Einstein's Riddle, and it's got a bunch of different riddles in them. Some of them are like logic riddles and math riddles and probability stuff and whatnot. And I bought the book years ago, and it was sort of just I enjoy riddles. Something else I'll invite you guys to send in if you like. I really, really enjoy riddles. I don't want to start a new thing. Fuck it, whatever. If you guys start sending me riddles, we'll have riddles. But I'll give you guys one. So just off the top of my head, this is not from Einstein's riddle book. This is just a riddle that I like. This one is what does hold on. Maybe should I phrase it right? So, what is something that God sees never, kings see seldom, and we see all the time? So that's the riddle. I'm going to put a note here to give you guys the solve riddle. So I had no intention of actually saying that one or well, any riddle really, but I will put that out there and see if I remind you guys, or maybe if I forget, you'll fucking write in and tell me. I would love that. Hey, asshole, you forgot to fucking answer the riddle. Oh, my apologies. Or maybe I'll make you guys fucking follow me on Instagram, and Twitter and Facebook, and maybe I'll post the answer there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post the answer when I'm done. Yeah, so that was the sound of all my things. Post answer on Insta. That's what the girls call it. Insta. And Twitter. Twitter and Facebook. That's right. That is the sound of me making notes. Okay, so the riddle again, very quickly to summarize. What is something God sees never, kings see seldom, and we see all the time? Answer on the social media for the One Man Podcast. So that's where I'll answer that. But anyways, I like little simple riddles like that. And but anyways, that's just sort of a thought one. You know, when you hear the answer, you'll go, oh. But that's what I like about riddles. Riddles are not so much of like, look what's right in front of you. It's kind of like think outside the box. Anyways, the Einstein's riddle is the first one in the book, and it's a logic puzzle where it's basically like, there's 5 houses, and inside every house there's a person of a different nationality. They all play a different sport. Each house is a different color. They all have a different pet, and they all drink a different beverage. If you'd like to look it up, it's called Einstein's riddle. But anyways, I started doing that one, and it's kind of like a grid Sudoku sort of way of solving. And I was just doing that one night over at Crystal's. I believe it was the same night that we had the little ladies' dinner. And it was so cool because I just started it, and after a few minutes, Crystal joined with me. And it was one of the nicest little bits of quality time we've had together in a long time. We weren't doing chores. We weren't watching TV or anything like that. It was just the two of us sort of working on something, solving it together. We got right into it. So that was fun. It was fun. I definitely had more fun doing it with her than I would have alone. So it was just a kind of a nice little thing that I wanted to share with you guys. But I do enjoy riddles. So if you do want to send some in or whatever, please feel free. I'll try to solve them on the air or whatever. On the podcast, right? I'll give it a shot. But some are harder than others. Some I get, some I way don't get. My friend and very funny comedian Matt Davis told me like a Mensa riddle, and I did not get it at all. It was super complicated. And sometimes with riddles, they'll give you so much extra shit, and all that you need is like one word. And in this particular riddle, it was one letter, and it was literally like plural. The riddle was basically like, I'm gonna fuck it up because I can't remember it all. It was a long time ago, but effectively this man walks across a field. In the middle of the field, there's an apple tree. The tree has something like apples on it. Doesn't tell you how the tree has apples. And it says when he walks through, he crosses across the orchard diagonally and stops at the apple tree. And when he leaves, he does not take apples. He does not leave apples. but how is that possible? Because there's already apples on the tree or something like that, but he doesn't take apples and he doesn't leave apples. So how is this possible? And the solution is that it's because it's apples, plural. So there's 2 apples on the tree. So he takes an apple and leaves an apple. Doesn't take apples, doesn't leave apples. So some riddles are fucking crazy intense like that, because you're like, oh fuck, that's the letter S. Well, if he leaves an apple, if he takes an apple, there's 2 apples. Anyway, so like that kind of shit. Those riddles I'm never gonna get. But some of the simple ones I can do, right? So anyways, I enjoy riddles. We did that with the lady last week. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed spending my time doing that with her. And next week, I've got, we're leaving for Wonderland. So there's one more podcast that I'll record very likely on Monday, because we leave on Tuesday to go to Canada's Wonderland, the trip I've been talking about for some time now, that I'm trying to lose weight for, which hasn't happened, but we're still making some changes, lifestyle changes that I'm happy we're going to build on. Believe it or not, the scale in the house is broken, and fuck you, I did not break it. The scale in the house is broken. So I haven't been able to do a weigh-in for a while. And again, I'm not really eager to go out and spend like, $30 on something that's just going to make me upset. So I'm not sure what my weight is, but I'm actually feeling better, and I'm doing a lot more walking. I'm looking forward to spending more time with my dog. My dog spends the vast majority of the time at my parents' place. He's got a big, huge yard that he can run around with there. He's got their dog to spend time with during the day. And, my dad is home quite often. So he's basically, if I'm running errands all day or working or doing shows and stuff, I mean, he stays there primarily because I'm not going to have him in a room here by himself, bored, nothing to do. I would rather he's got a yard to play in. And my dad takes him for big, long walks, at the experimental farm, which, anywhere else probably sounds like ridiculous, but it's a farm area where there's big open fields, and he takes the 2 dogs over there, and they run. They have a great time. So he has a great doggy daycare where if for any reason I have a show at night or whatever, I'll just leave him there. They absolutely adore him. They think he's the greatest. But I really would like to go on, like I said, do more walking myself, and gives me an opportunity to bond with my dog. Last episode I talked about taking him to the dog park. I'm looking to do that a whole lot more too. So just in case you guys are like, he talks about his dog, but doesn't really talk about him that much. It's like, I don't see him every day, which is a huge bummer. But of course, the more active I get, the more it encourages me to be out and do things with him. I'd like to get a little more balance in my life too, where I'm not so all over the map. I'd like to spend more time with my dog. I'd like to have him here with me, when I'm doing stuff during the day. But I know that if I'm just gonna have an afternoon of paperwork and phone calls and computer work, it's boring for him to just be sitting in his bed, right? I'd really like him to have more fun. That's why I let him stay with them when I know I'm just going to be working. So just want him to have a good life, But the reason I bring up this stuff, guys, is that the Wonderland trip, right? Like I said, I think I've missed the mark in terms of losing weight so that I know I'll comfortably be able to fit on all the rides. Excuse me. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of rides I am just going to be too big to get on. So I have decided that rather than being upset and depressed that I'm just going to end up standing there holding purses and backpacks for the vast majority of the day, I'm going to turn it into a game. So going back to follow me on Instagram, the One Man Podcast, right? One Man Podcast on Instagram, because now that I've played around with that, at that Mosaic place with posting your story pictures, I am going to be doing a live Wonderland story on Instagram, Day of Wonderland. So I'm going to take a picture of the rides, the big sign in front of the rides, post it to my story, and then I will post either the fact that I got on, I'll take a picture of me on the ride happily, getting ready to enjoy, or a picture of me not on the ride, with, we'll do a live version of the game, how many rides is Josh too fat to get on? And every ride will either have, yay, success, or too fat. I'll put a bunch of pig emojis and hot dogs and ice cream emojis around it. Basically, just it's going to suck. I'd be disappointed to not be able to get on stuff because of my size, but at least I can make it funny. try to turn the negative into a positive. And I do want to go on record as saying that the girlfriend is not exactly behind this. She just says she's sorry that I might not be able to get down. She's very supportive, but she's not behind the idea of me making fun of myself on the day. But I told her, I'm like, hey, you know what? It's going to suck. I got to find a way to make it fun. Excuse me. I'm talking so much. My throat's getting dry on me. So yeah. So guys, tune in. I will remind you on next week's episode, though you won't actually get the episode until Wednesday. And the first day that we're there is Tuesday. So this is your opportunity to go on and get the Instagram thing, because next Tuesday, you will be able to follow me throughout the course of the day at Wonderland, attempting to get on rides and maybe or maybe not being too fat to get on them. Which brings me to our sponsors for the week. Oh my God, I'm getting dry. I want to be able to read this without choking and coughing every 2 seconds. But yeah, so we're at the sponsors portion of the show, and I figured this week's edition of Uncle John's Bathroom Readers is perfect for someone like myself, just who might be a little too fat for things. I thought you guys might enjoy, so sit tight and enjoy this week's version or edition from our partners, of course, at portablepress.com. This week's edition of the book is called How to Toilet Train Your Cat and 61 Other Ill-Conceived Projects. And the article that I decided to use this week, guys, is perfect for what we were just talking about. It's called Do Your Own Liposuction and Save. So that's what I'm going to be talking about this week. That's the name of the article, Do Your Own Liposuction and Save. Who among us isn't carrying a little extra fat we'd like to get rid of? You could try diet and exercise, but who has the time? So here's what you'll need. Local anesthetic, such as lidocaine, laced with a mild sedative to reduce anxiety but not put you to sleep, a syringe, thin surgical tube or cannula, scalpel, saline solution. Are you guys writing all this down at home? Make sure you have it. Medical grade suction pump, or a modified high-powered handheld vacuum like a Dyson model. Dysons are expensive, so I would say you've got a mild surgical clinic going on at home right now if you got a Dyson. Dyson, a nice sharp knife, you're halfway there. What else? Compression garment such as Spanx, ladies, disinfectant, medical twine, and a needle. And on the side here, it just says, this sucks. Once you add up the price of the operation itself, along with anesthesia and all the other little costs, even a small procedure can cost upwards of $10,000. Alrighty. So now it's the do-it-yourself part. Liposuction, while a mild and elective medical procedure, is a medical procedure nonetheless. Consider employing the use of a surgical buddy. Since you will be operating on yourself and may become groggy from the anesthetic, it's a good idea to have a friend there to drive you to the hospital if things go awry. Number 2, apply the local anesthetic and thoroughly disinfect your workspace, your abdomen, and all your tools. Make a small incision in your stomach and insert a small metal tube, cannula, into your chubby area. And chubby area is wherever you're fat, not your penis. Be sure to dig and get down to the deeper layers of subcutaneous fat where you are less likely to damage your skin. Good advice. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm so dry, guys. Luckily, I didn't get that thing where your throat goes like instantly dry, as I've never paused this podcast midway through, so I'm not going to start now. All right, layers of subcutaneous fat, but you're less likely to damage your skin. Number 4, move the cannula back and forth vigorously to break up those pesky fat cells. You may want to pump a saline solution, along with additional lidocaine, through the cannula during this process to prevent skin dents, minimizing blood loss, and avoid the unpleasant and painful burning of fat from all that friction. Number 5, here's where the suction in liposuction comes from. Once you've broken up the fat cells, you need to suck them out with the suction pump or vacuum. Don't be shy and don't be gentle. That fat doesn't want to go anywhere. And you've come this far. Get all of it. Sew up the wound and compress it. You've removed a layer of living tissue from inside your body, and now your body has to heal. Wrap the area or wear some kind of compression garment like Spanx to speed up the healing process and reduce internal bleeding. Sure, you're probably performing liposuction on yourself, so you won't have to wear those control garments anymore. But they can come in very handy one last time as they compress your wound and keep you from bleeding to death. And at the top, there's a little side note, trimming the fat. What do doctors do with that fat after they remove it? It's burned in an industrial incinerator and then sent as medical waste to landfills. And then in parentheses, or you can make a candle out of it. Turn to page 77. So that was the article this week from portablepress.com. And of course, the edition is called How to Toilet Train Your Cat and 61 Other Ill-Conceived Products. The article being Do Your Own Liposuction and Save. So as usual, guys, my partners at portablepress.com, they have so many books like this. Like this, obviously, this one edition has got a bunch of little things like that. There's actually an article in there I was skimming through that says like how to perform open heart surgery on yourself. So many funny things in there, but I figured that one with the liposuction, you know, being that the Wonderland trip was coming up and I really fell short of my goals, why not just speed up the process? So there's great books. They've got books on history, books on that's it, Josh. One example: history, science, astronomy, geography. You know, all sorts of different factoids and things like that. Portablepress.com, guys. Check out the lineup of stuff they have. You will find something that you're interested in. I have no doubt of that. Sponsor number 2, right? Absolute Comedy, guys. Get ready and enjoy this. Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America. Yeah. And like I said, it's the last week of the Prove Your Comic competition, guys. So, if you're in Ottawa or Toronto, right? Toronto is Tuesday through Thursday. Ottawa is Monday through Wednesday. I'll be going there tonight to check out the Tuesday night show at Absolute Ottawa, just to see how the competition's going there. But you can always check this stuff out, guys. And I haven't plugged this yet, but of course, like I said, Open Mic Mondays is the show that I produce and book and everything like that here in Ottawa. If you're in the Ottawa area or anywhere, to be honest with you, if you're anywhere listening to this, I'm happy to give you information. But if you're in the Ottawa area, you can go to openmicmondays.com and actually sign up to try stand-up comedy yourself. So if you're like, you know what, it's great to hear shows. How do I get involved? All this time I've wanted to know. If you're in the Ottawa area, it's as simple as signing up on openmicmondays.com and coming out to do 6 minutes of stand-up. You know, I would say in every major city, there's comedy clubs or somewhere where you can try stand-up comedy. So again, if anyone out there is like, I'm thinking about it, I spoke with a friend today, Rash, who's going to be doing his first set next week. I've known him for years. But anybody else, if you guys are out there and you're like, I've been thinking about it and it's something, it's on a bucket list. We haven't talked about those in a while, but if it's on my bucket list and I'd like to try it out and I feel like I could do it, get in touch with me, guys. The email address, contact@onemanpodcast.com. Send me a message and just let me know that you're interested in trying it or something. And I'll try to point you in the right direction to somebody I know in whatever city you're at to try to get you, get that thing off your list. That's really not that hard, and it's the first time is the hardest. It really is the absolute hardest. So just get it out of the way, try it, and then you're golden, right? Scratch it off your list. Now, guys, without further ado, I have been sipping on Kronenberg Blanc. That's the sound of the glass sticking to my coaster, and then the coaster falling off 2 seconds later. So I've been drinking Kronenberg Blanc, which I absolutely love. It's 1/2 of the White Summer mixture. And without any further ado, it is time for the world premiere of the One Man Podcast Summersby commercial, guys. I hope you enjoy. The sun gives life to the orchard. The orchard gives life to the apple. The apple gives life to Summersby. Summersby is a delicious sweet taste of sunshine, imported across the ocean, all the way from Denmark. The people in Denmark are smarter, and so are you, if you drink Summersby. With flavors like apple, blackberry, pear, elderflower lime, red rhubarb, and a taste as regal as this fake accent, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And now you can try them all in the Summersby Mixer Pack, available wherever fine beverages are sold. So go on and try for yourself the crisp, refreshing taste of Summersby. Your taste buds deserve it. Please drink resplendently. What do you think of that? That's kind of fun, right? I had fun making that commercial, and that's it. Just like, see, I don't have to friggin' yap about it for minutes after minutes. Just a nice little tune, right, guys? William Tell Overture, just enjoy that. You get the idea. Builds the point. I also had to fuck around with a fake British accent, so in case you're wondering, yes, that is me. That is me. So, anyways, and of course, too, I wanted to mention that I didn't know this until I spoke. I may have mentioned it already on the podcast, or maybe I didn't. Who knows? But Summersby is imported from Denmark. It really is. It's made there. They don't have a local brewery that's done here in North America. Everything that they get is shipped overseas here. So, and because of the fact it's an import, I'm even more impressed that the price is not... it's actually pretty reasonable price for something that's imported all the way here. So I definitely love the products. And I'm happy to have them as a partner as always. And now I can talk about them even less. And a cool little thing that maybe you guys didn't know. Well, why would you, right? You don't talk to a rep every week. But the red rhubarb, the new flavor that's from this year, the red rhubarb sold out in 3 weeks. They forecasted the supply that they got to last for 2 months. And it was so good, it sold out in 3 weeks. I have not been able to get any more since because they have not had any. I have 1 can left on the shelf, and I'm coveting it. So, definitely, if you see the red rhubarb on the shelf, buy that shit, because it may not be there when you turn around. But yeah, so anyways, that's the sponsors this week, guys. Always happy to do that. This week coming up for myself, before we move on to your questions, this week coming up on Thursday, I'm going to be interviewing Joe Bartnick, who is a phenomenal comedian. He's toured all over the world, opening for Lisa Lampanelli, who's, you may have seen her on the Comedy Central roasts. Joe has toured all over with her. He has also opened for Bill Burr regularly, who should need no introduction. So yeah, I mean, and Joe himself is a phenomenal headliner who is actually, normally I don't do this, but Joe is performing in Ottawa this week. So if you hear this on Wednesday and you're in the Ottawa area, he is headlining at Absolute Comedy here in Ottawa. So go to absolutecomedy.ca or call 613-233-8000 to make reservations for those shows, because they will sell out. And speaking of which, I am going to be featuring on those shows on Saturday. So 8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on Saturday, you will see me, you will see Joe Bartnick. And the host is Evan Carter, who is from Toronto, who is absolutely hysterical. It's a monster show, top to bottom. So if you're in the Ottawa area, come see those shows. They're fantastic. If you want to see me, like I said, I'm only there Saturday, but Joe is there all week. He's going to be there tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him yet since he's been up here. But we'll see each other tonight. And we'll be working together on Saturday. So as I mentioned, I will be interviewing Joe Bartnick. He's also the host. Geez, I can't believe I missed this. He's also the host of the Puck Off podcast, which is like one of the best hockey podcasts in North America. So if you guys have any questions at all, contact at onemanpodcast.com. Ask him anything. I don't care if you want to ask him about hockey, about his career, about stand-up, about whatever he's done. It's nice to have an opportunity. When else do you get an opportunity to ask questions of people of this stature? So take advantage of it, right? Contact at onemanpodcast.com. I will be happy to ask Joe any questions. Just let me know if you want them to be anonymous or not. I don't know why, but that's me, right? I'm not really afraid of social interaction or people knowing that shit came from me, but I will respect your privacy. If you just like to ask a question and don't want them to know where it came from, feel free just to let me know. So that's Thursday. On Monday, I am hosting the Tartan Pub in Orleans. So it's my last thing here in Ottawa before we leave on Tuesday for Wonderland, because that's where we're going. So I will record the podcast that day, and then I'll be hosting at the Tartan Pub. And again, the headliner that evening will still be Joe Bartnick. It's his last show, I believe, in Canada before he goes back to California. So, yeah, I mean, I hope to see you guys if you're in the area. Come out, and other than that, I will hope to have a great interview with Joe. And that will be available for you guys on Friday. So you get this on Wednesday, which is tomorrow to me, today for you, or whenever the hell. You could be 6 months behind and just listen to this out of the blue somewhere where it's all too late. Everything I'm offering is way too late. But Joe is be interviewing Joe on Thursday. I will make the episode available for you guys on Friday. So this week you get 2. You're welcome. I know I'm the gift that doesn't stop giving. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And now it's time before I say goodbye for your emails. So we got a few of those in this week. I got one from, sorry, I'm moving the mic here. I got one from Tiffany, which says, "Hey Josh, you said you can't cancel on yourself. Good self-advice for the gym. Burn." And I don't really know what that meant. I don't know if you're saying that, like, telling me not to cancel on myself, or if I said I couldn't cancel on myself. I still want to go to the gym if that's what you're saying. Like, I'm not trying to cancel in the gym, but at the same time, I don't enjoy going in the sense that, like I said, I tried doing the machines. I want to lose some weight so I can get a doctor to take a look at me and figure out what the hell's wrong with my side and my groin. I tried doing the, sort of stand-up bike, and it felt like someone was pressing a machete into my fucking chota, groin, gooch, whatever the fuck you call it. And taint, there you go. That's another one people know. Yeah, it hurts so much because I have like no muscle there. So it just felt like it was just all my weight was just pressing into my fucking, chota, gooch. What the taint, that's the one. But what's the one everyone knows? And then I tried the sit down one. Right? You sit down and you pedal, and my fucking knees are kneading my stomach. It made me feel like I was going to puke. It was honestly like pound, so much stomach that my legs coming up was like, bleh, made me sick. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to keep walking. I'm going to stand on the treadmill. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to treadmill until I start burning some of this shit off to actually feel good. I can do some arm stuff, but I don't know how much, walking around with a giant gut and giant arms, that would look fucking weird. So for now, the plan is to just keep walking. I'm going for walks every day. I'm enjoying it. And I'm eating. The biggest thing is I'm eating way, way better, guys. So there's not a whole lot of extra calories going in, and what I'm eating is not shit. So I'm walking more, I'm eating less. That will come into a balance, and we'll start building from there. Baby steps. That's not good enough for you, I'm sorry. All right, but that's what I got to give. So I'm gonna do that until that stops working. And then you sorry, I apologize, Tiff. You continue on. Say, have you ever listened to Coast AM? No, I haven't. I've never even heard of it, to be honest with you. So you said it's a radio show I grew up with. Some of it is hit or miss, but it's interesting. Thanks for the tickets. So excited to receive them. You're welcome. So again, reminder, Tiffany was the winner of the Absolute Comedy Season Pass. So congratulations to you. Yeah, I would ask, where do I hear this thing? Is it actually on AM radio where you live? Because I believe that you're a few hours away from Ottawa, which means I probably wouldn't be able to get it. But then again, if you listen to it growing up, I don't know, is it national radio? Is it on CBC? Let me know. You said, congratulations on your new podcast endeavors. I'm excited to see how you talk shit and express things. You may be referring to Comics Talking Comics. I had a conference call earlier today with a very large publishing company that is very excited to be partnering with me on that. So I will wait till they give me permission to announce it. But effectively, this other podcast is still just in development, in the infancy of things. And I've already got a great partner that's super excited. Really, they've asked me for almost nothing and are willing to give whatever they need to support. So that's always a great, I mean, it's actually not fair. I told them, I want you guys to ask me for more too, because, to be partnered with you is really outstanding. So, I'm already a huge fan of their stuff. So I thought of them, I reached out to them, and they got on board, and I'm super excited. I couldn't be happier. So, you said, I'm not a gamer, so I'm not going to lie. I was going to skip that part. LOL, but I listened. The best I could say is that the sound of those comfy chairs. So you're referring to last week when I was talking about video games. So the video game tournament that had like the nice comfortable chairs. Yeah, they were great. I didn't really give a shit about the game myself, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed the Friday the 13th game that I spoke of. In fact, my friend Nick has purchased that game, but he bought Friday the 13th on PlayStation 4. So we can't play together. But as soon as this podcast is over, guys, I'm going to play with the kiddo. Brody's waiting on me, so we're going to play some Friday the 13th when this podcast is over. I hope you can't hear me highlighting everything. I'm highlighting it. You said, I hope this week is better than the last. My only question is in relation to the email you got last week. Yeah, and then you said question mark. But I don't know what email you're referring to, Tiff. I apologize. You said, I hope this week is better than last. My only question is in relation to the email you got last week. You said, what songs have changed your life? I don't know. I don't ever feel like a song has changed my life, to be totally honest with you. I really don't. There's songs that I've really enjoyed. There's songs that have brought me to tears. Um, but I gotta be honest, I don't think a song has ever changed my life. I've never, the only time I've ever connected with music is when, um, yeah, like during a breakup, right? Like, that whole feeling of like every song is about you when you break up, all this, the love songs, the sad love songs. I remember when Crystal and I broke up years ago. That fucking Bruno Mars song, now my lady's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. That song tore my heart out. But I wouldn't say it changed my life. All it did was make me change the station, to be honest. If that song was playing, I would just change it. But yeah, I don't know. And maybe maybe there's something missing inside me that songs don't change my life, you know. But I can't. That's like the only song that I can think of that was really. There's a lot of great songs, old shit or whatever, but I don't. Yeah, I really can't say one has changed my life. Maybe there's a connection I'm not making in my own head. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be more than happy to know what songs have changed your life. Yeah, I can't even think of an artist that I've really connected with. I mean, I love lots of music. I love lots of music. I really do. Like the weird goofy kid, but I don't know. I really can't. I wish I could answer. That seems like, it's almost like one of Jimmy's hypotheticals. I really don't know. You were saying, I was thinking, does Crystal follow your stand-up and take pictures? No, she does not. And by that, I mean, she doesn't follow me in stand-up. Crystal's got her own career, and she's got the kiddos and a ton of responsibilities. She's very supportive, and I couldn't be happier for the level of support that I get from her with stand-up. But when we were first dating, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, they are not my biological children. Crystal was in a relationship before we got together. And the kids are from their previous marriage. So it used to be that the kids were, there was split time, right? So we had more spare time. Crystal was side by side with me during that time. The dynamic has changed, and Crystal comes to as many shows as she can, but she's not at all of them. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, like I've talked, I think, before about how my material, I really haven't started turning over material. So like, I can't blame her for not wanting to come and see almost the same show every single time. Like, she gets precious little spare time to herself. So some nights, if I have a show or whatever, she stays home and gets a little, personal time, relax, solo, alone time. And, and I go do my thing. Just the way it works. You say, but again, she's supportive. Like I can't, I can't stress that enough. She's offered to take pictures of me, going back to the whole health thing and how, my health and my weight and everything. She's a photographer. She's taken pictures of me before and I like them, but I'm really not happy with myself right now. So I'm not really asking anyone to take pictures of me, for what it's worth. Why have you not uploaded more comedy on your YouTube? I don't record stuff. I don't record video. I record sound on my phone. I haven't recorded more because when I first started stand up, somebody had suggested to me that when you put shit online, there's comedians and people who work for comedians out there that scour YouTube and the internet looking for material from comedians who are not established. So if you don't have your material on a special or something somewhere, don't put it online because then someone can see it and steal it. And, a lot of people have accused a lot of comedians of doing stuff like that. Like this is a rumor. I'm going to preface this by saying this is a rumor. I don't know if it's true. It could be, guys. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people that everyone loves, are can kind of be D-bags. And I'm not suggesting this of this person, but I'm just saying when I say the name, your inclination might be, oh, well, he would never do that. I'm just letting you know sometimes the pretty unanimous understanding that I've been told of this person whom I've never met, and this is just a rumor, is that this person was a notorious joke thief in the sense that he would come up to you and say, I'm going to take that joke and then try to write you a check. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to buy it from you, but it's mine now. Like, you can take the money or you're not going to take the money, but it's mine now. And I've heard tell, you know what? I'm not going to say this person's name. Sorry, it might piss you off. Go, you were so close. There's no reason for me to say the name, but a very large comedian who has the ability to get on TV, who effectively could have his agent call up a late night show and go, hey, can this guy come on and do a spot? he would say to young people, like, hey, first person to TV gets it, and if you're some open micer like I was at the time when someone told me this, well, what are the odds of me being able to just get on a late night US talk show and tell this joke, right? But this other person does it, shows the world, and then I'm on stage trying to tell my joke and everyone's going, oh, you're stealing that joke from so-and-so, So to be honest with you, one of the reasons I don't put stuff on YouTube is that, I don't have a special or a CD or anything, so I feel like it's kind of vulnerable out there. Plus, I don't know if it's just me being, I don't know if I'm being insecure, or like if there's an artist. I always say the artist in me is never happy with anything I've done. I don't listen to my podcast because I can't listen to the sound of my voice. I feel like I hear all the imperfections and things that I'm doing. So I don't post anything online because I would be way too critical. And in order to get it online, I have to look at it and edit it and all that stuff. So it's a lot of work. B, I'd be unhappy with it once it gets there. I just and I'd be worried that someone was going to steal it. So I think going forward, there's more things that I'd like to get online. No promises, but that whole Wonderland thing of like the trying to get on a ride and then too fat or yay, it worked. All that fun stuff. I might try to like take a bunch of pictures and stuff and maybe make a YouTube video out of all of it all said and done. It'll really depend on how popular it was day of. If a lot of people watched it, laughed, and thought it was funny, then yeah, maybe I'll take the time to edit a YouTube video together and put that out there. But for the time being, I mean, if you want to hear my stand-up, come see me at a show, right? And yeah, there's nothing that I've got. And once I have it recorded, if I do an album or something, then I'll put that shit out there, let people see it or whatever. But I'm not a guy like Louis C.K., Bill Burr, George Carlin. Obviously Carlin's dead, but the kind of guy where I'm putting out a new special every 2 years. So if someone watches a joke and burns it, who cares? It's gonna be gone in a year or two anyways. Like, my act has been the same for a long time, and I really need to start writing more stuff before I potentially give away the old shit, right? So anyways, I hope that answers your question. But effectively, the reason I don't put it on there is because A, it's a lot of work, and B, I don't want anyone to steal it. So yeah, that's it. And you said, I guess that was 3 questions. Yeah. Does Crystal take pictures? What's the song? And why don't I upload? So yeah, I guess that's 3 pictures. Thanks for your email, Tiff. I appreciate that. Sorry guys, if it's seeming a little long. I've got 2 more. This one's going to be a lot faster. Mark writes, loving all the podcasts so far. Thank you, Mark. You keep begging for topic ideas. Yes, I do. Not sure why we, the listener, have to do the work for you. Isn't the whole idea of a podcast for you to entertain us? Yeah. Yes, it is. But you guys are welcome to give me the stuff to entertain you with, right? It's more entertaining for you if I know the subject matter that you want me to talk about. So, yeah. You guys don't have to, but I'm saying you want me to talk about something, fucking email in and tell me to talk about it. That's all. I take requests is all I'm saying. And you say, but I digress. You've jokingly referred to yourself as a grill master. Nope. I don't recall that. I've mentioned having to grill. Maybe I have accidentally called myself a grill master, but I think it's more of like I'm mastering the grill. Or manning the grill, maybe what it is. But I certainly, dude, I am so not a grill fucking master. Far from it. But you say a topic could be your best grill recipe. My best grill recipe, the one I fuck up the least, is hot dogs. I put them on there, and when they start splitting, I take them off. One of my favorite is the beer can burger. See attached. So this is something I already posted on Facebook. So when you sent me the links on Facebook for the video and the pictures of the stuff that you've done, I posted the pictures. So what Mark is talking about, guys, if you go to One Man Podcast on Twitter or Facebook, you will find a YouTube video of these beer can burgers that Mark is talking about. So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown, but you guys will see the video. I'd never heard of these. I've asked a couple people since you sent them to me. They had not heard of them either. Only one person had, and I don't even remember who it was. But these things look outstanding. You basically take a big chunk of ground beef, guys, and you like wrap it around the bottom of a beer can. So the whole idea is you're creating like a well, and then you wrap like bacon around that, around the outside of the burger. You take the beer can out, and now the hole in the middle of the burger, right from where the beer can was, you stuff with whatever the fuck you want. And it looks amazing. And I was saying, Cam in London, Ontario, dude, you post pictures of all the stuff you make. I do not know if you've heard of these, but this sounds like something that'd be right up your alley. So make sure you check out the Twitter post and Facebook, or anybody else who just looks for new things to grill. It looks so easy. But check out the videos. And so I go on to mark your email here. You said, I filled them with spaghetti and spaghetti toppings, which sounds amazing. I filled them with sliced roast beef chips, fried onions, and an egg. The sky's the limit. Or perhaps widen the topic. Perhaps suggest the most disgustingly good recipes. I've done a deep fried bacon wrapped poutine, which I saw the picture of again. The picture of Mark's deep fried bacon wrapped poutine is there too. And yes, it looks amazing. As well as bacon wrapped burger wrapped dog. So that's, you wrapped a burger, or you wrapped a dog in burger and then wrap that in bacon. Yeah, see, dude, I'm trying to lose fucking weight. You're going to kill me here. This isn't going to fucking go well at all. But yeah, it all looks good. And then you said, I've also attached bacon wrapped potato roses with cheese. Just some thoughts. Keep up the great work and thanks for entertaining me. My pleasure. Thank you so much for your email. I don't know if I'm going to have an opportunity to try these. I don't know that I should, trying to fit on roller coasters in a week's time, but they look great. And I would love it if you guys, if any of you were like, fuck, that sounds good. Go to Facebook and Twitter. Whatever one you want, One Man Podcast. You'll see the short little YouTube video of someone making one of these and all the different stuff that they do. It looks great. I really do want to try it. Just, maybe just one and then find some fun stuff to, because we've been buying the stuff that's already got the stuff mixed into the burger. Well, why not just create the well in the middle and be done with it? I like your idea of putting the spaghetti and stuff inside too. It really sounds great. So thanks for your email. And I really look forward to sort of hearing from you guys. If any of you have tried these before, if you've heard of them, but it sounds great. And finally, a message from Vanessa, aka Red, my pal, also in London, Ontario. Hey Josh, I never got to answer your question about the seed bank, which was talked about in your episode number 9. And yes, you grow the vegetables in your garden, and then when you harvest it, you dry the seeds and return them to the bank. Pretty cool idea. So yeah, Vanessa had mentioned that like at her library, not only can you get audiobooks, but they have a seed bank. So you can go there and get seeds, plant them, and I said, oh, how do you return them, right? You've planted them, you've grown them. And so that was the answer to that question. Once you do it, you dry them yourself and you bring them back. That does sound like a very cool exchange program. I like it. I like it very much. And you say, secondly, very cool that you are trying some new games. I'm pretty into the gaming scene and follow E3. For anyone who doesn't know, that's the Electronic Entertainment Expo, as well as some gaming news channels on YouTube. My fave being Dodger and Press Heart to Continue. Jesse Cox is another one I like, I think because he reminds me of you. In parentheses, he's funny. Yes, thanks, so am I guess. I watch his Let's Plays so I can see if I'll like a game before I buy it. What platform were you playing on? I have I have 2 consoles. I have my Xbox One, and I have my, Xbox One S. I'm not poor. No, I'm kidding. I have my Xbox One S and I have my PS4. So, I play, Friday the 13th on Xbox One. So me and the kiddo can play together. And what else you say? Yeah, and I like the Let's Play. So if there's anybody out there who, wants to play a video game, but you're not sure if it's any good, you can watch reviews, but they don't show you a lot. One of the things is fun, if you type in a game name and then type in like Let's Play in front of it, so like Let's Play Call of Duty Ghosts or whatever, you'll find videos of people just playing the game like from the start or whatever. Like I remember when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, I was on the road and I couldn't play it, but I remember like I felt sick and I was in my room a lot. So I actually spent like several hours watching someone play through the story of Grand Theft Auto 5, just right from the beginning or whatever. So yeah, Let's Play videos are great. If you guys are interested in video games, you don't have the game, but you kind of like to see what's going on, you can do that. Sorry, I'm trying to find my place in your email here. I watch his Let's Plays, so yeah, I'm playing on whatever platform. You say, I am currently playing Life is Strange on PS4 and Oxygen not included on PC. I don't have a PC. I'm a Mac user. I know you hate fruit slaves or whatever you call us, but yeah, I don't have a PC, and I have gamed on my Mac before and I've had no issue with it, but I prefer playing on a console. I like the fact that I can lay down in bed with the controller in my hand and play there, right? I mean, I need luxury. God forbid I sit upright while I'm doing fucking nothing by playing video games. You said, have you heard of Steam? Yes, I have. Steam I used to play Counter-Strike and stuff on Steam, and they've grown into quite the large gaming platform. It's great for getting PC games. Basically what it is it's like a Netflix of games that you buy the games off of. So instead of having to go out to the store and buy it, you can just, It's your download platform for games on PC. You should get Don't Starve together, and we should play it. If that is a PC game, I wouldn't be able to. It's an online cooperative version of the standalone game Don't Starve. It's pretty darn fun, but Oxygen Not Included and Don't Starve are made by a Canadian gaming company in Vancouver. Well, that's very cool to know. I like supporting my country. So thanks for your email, Red. I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, I'm good to play some games with people every now and again. If you guys want, feel free to add me. I think I'm on Xbox. I'm comedian space Josh space W, and then on PlayStation I'm comedian hyphen Josh altogether. So feel free to add me, and if you ever see me, like, I'd be more than happy to play games. I'm really not on a lot. It takes a special feeling of like, all right, nothing matters for me to play video games. Because if I have any kind of hope in a day whatsoever, I typically try to focus on something that's going to, work for my career or something like that. That's the thing about being self-employed. There's always something you can do. There's never any real downtime. I think that's kind of why I like going to movies and stuff. I like leaving the house, because if I'm in a movie, I'm sitting there and it's like I can't see the work right in front of me that I have to do. But if I'm sitting in my room playing video games, I can see my whiteboard with all the things. I can see all the notes and lists on the tables. I can see the piles of laundry and stuff like that. I shouldn't say piles of laundry, but I can see my hamper. I just feel guilty. I feel like I should be doing something else. So, if the kiddo wants to play, then I feel like I'm bonding with him. So, anyways, that's the podcast for this week, guys. Thank you so much. I hope that it's more entertaining than previous ones have been. Trying to make it a little more funny here and there, but at the same time being real with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, as always, I know I've said it several times this episode, guys, but I'm going to just say them my sort of sign-off notes. If you want to ask me anything, give me hypotheticals, send me riddles, answer riddles, anything that you want, contact at onemanpodcast.com. I'm happy to read it, as I'm sure you guys are well aware by now. Also, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Josh Williams Comedy. That's for my personal one and anything I'm going comedically. And of course, anything to do with the podcast, onemanpodcast.com. So, .com. You start to get in that flow of the same shit. One Man Podcast. So it doesn't matter what your social media platform of choice is. Josh Williams Comedy or One Man Podcast is on them. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever the fuck. I don't think you can subscribe to any of that stuff. But if you guys are enjoying this podcast, share it with a friend. Even if you're just fucking around with something in the background or whatever while you guys are doing something else, feel free to play it for somebody. Maybe they'll enjoy it. The more listeners I have, the more my sponsors want to give me, and the more they give me, the less other shit I can do, and I can just focus on being funnier, right? Making this more entertaining, right? The circle of life. You drop a stone in the pond, who knows how far the rings will go. So I do appreciate every one of you who's listening. It really means a lot to me that you guys are out there and enjoying this. Thank you so much. Please don't hesitate to reach out with anything that you want, and if I can be of any use to you guys, like I said, somebody wants to start stand-up comedy. You guys looking to see a show somewhere, you want a recommendation, even if it's a city that doesn't have absolute comedy, I'd be happy to point you guys in the direction of some great stand-up places. In the meantime, I am going to go play some games, and what else am I going to do? I'm going to play some games with the kiddo. Going to get ready for my Wonderland trip. Going to go hang out with my buddy Joe Bartnick, get ready for that interview on Thursday, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much.